What's the deal with this?
Deal? What do you say?
Deal.
I don't see what the big deal is, It's not that great.
Good deal. You won't regret it.
What's the deal, son? What do you have going?
All right, look, here's the deal.
What'd you say? We're making some deal.
Commercial real estate marketing has evolved tremendously over the past decade. Some industry professionals are struggling to keep up, creating an opportunity to differentiate your business from the others. Today on the show, I'm speaking with Erina Malarkey, co-founder and CEO of Remarkably. Remarkably is a multifamily real estate marketing data, analytics, and insights company powered by a proprietary SaaS platform. This episode is brought to you by InCheck by Site Complied. InCheck is a building operations platform used by thousands of property management teams to get visibility, accountability, and consistency, and to grow their portfolios and profits. To find out more, go to incheckapp.com. That's INCHECKAPP.com. I'm your host, Ryan Cox, managing partner at Founders Growth Capital, a multifamily value-add investment firm. Real Estate Innovators is a podcast that explores innovation in commercial real estate. Celebrate the companies and innovators who are changing the business of commercial real estate and are inspiring the future of how we work, live, and play. I asked Erina about her background and the unique insight that led to the founding of Remarkably.
So I first started in real estate when I was 23 years old, and I immediately was incensed, as only a 23-year-old can be, with the role that marketing had at the table. And really, we were thought of as sort of this coloring in department, or kind of the logo girls. And over the last decade plus, I really set out to think about how could I make this my mission to change that? How could we convert marketing into a legitimate, strategic, revenue-producing lever in the asset management function? So that was really the onus for it. And prior to starting Remarkably, my co-founder, Annalie Deringer, and I previously owned a company together called VMO. VMO was a branding and marketing consulting firm. We worked exclusively in real estate across all asset classes, but did a lot of work in multifamily. And we kept having people come to us with the same problem and challenge and frustration. And the biggest owners and the biggest managers kept saying to us, what am I getting for my marketing spend? What's working? What isn't? Why is this building performing? Why is this building underperforming? And people just felt like marketing was this black hole that they were putting dollars into and really had no idea what was coming out. And when a building is performing well, this mystery is sort of frustrating and a nuisance. But when a building is underperforming and you're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, or you can't sell a building, that void becomes a major pain point. And so via our previous company, we set out to solve that. And we created an analytics arm of the business, which we built on Tableau. So we built it predominantly as a data visualization play. And customers kept saying to us, nobody else is doing this. No one else is thinking about how you convert marketing into this strategic lever. And so about a year ago, maybe almost a year ago, probably to the day, we decided to really take it to the next level. So to take that analog version and create something drastically more scalable, drastically more robust, which is what ultimately drove us to creating Remarkably, which was to say, if we took our deep domain expertise and then created a much more sophisticated, powerful platform, we felt like there really was this true opportunity to really revolutionize multifamily marketing, if you will.
I asked Erina about some of the challenges of commercial real estate marketing that Remarkably set out to solve.
So just to give you a little bit of context or a little bit of table setting, the U.S. multifamily real estate is a $3 trillion+ industry that, by conservative estimate, invests about $5 billion a year in marketing and leasing. And right now, almost 100% of marketing planning and management is done via a very manual process. It is emails and phone calls and spreadsheets and those dreaded, Monday morning or Tuesday morning weekly leasing reports. And correspondingly, people really have very little idea of what that $5 billion is even accomplishing. And then if you get more specific within that, you say, okay, well, what's the pain with this old solution for property managers? So for property managers, you have kind of these archaic workflows are causing significantly lost time and correspondingly lost money. And then if you go to the other side of the aisle and you think about the capital players, owners, investors, developers, for them, they're having massive lost cash flow and also lost or degradation of asset value. So really the problem has been with the past is that people haven't had any transparency into what's working, what isn't, why, and how to fix it. And so when you start thinking about the fact that you're dealing with the largest asset class in the world, this blind spot really is a very big problem.
I asked Erina about the traditional marketing budget for commercial real estate assets and how Remarkably helps organizations define budgets and measure ROI.
So right now, again, I'll talk a bit about old world and new world. So historically, real estate has thought about marketing as a single line item in a budget. So someone will say, I spend $10,000 a month on marketing. We think it's actually important to understand how you're allocating that spend through a sales funnel, i.e. reputation building. How are you telling the story of your asset? That might be something like a brand strategy or a name or a logo. The next bucket is demand creation. And this is really where most owners and managers are spending the bulk of their spend. This is effectively lead generation, paid search, paid social, ILS. From there, you move into leasing enablement, which is a really important piece because so much of marketing is just really focused on the digital side, but real estate, of course, has this very human element to it. It's brick and mortar, and it's where people are going to live, and there are agents who are helping facilitate that transaction. So we look at leasing enablement, which is to say, how are you closing someone once you get them to the property and you get them through the front door? And then as it relates to the actual economics of it, it really ranges. But a typical way that we like to think about it is basically the cost per executed lease in relationship to sort of the average monthly rent. And it is our perspective that you should always be under 100% of that. So by that, I mean, if you have an apartment building and the average rents are $1,500 per month, you shouldn't be spending more than $1,500 to acquire your customers. And then in terms of overall annual budgets, it really ranges. There are some people who kind of pride themselves and say we don't have to spend anything on marketing, and we've seen campaigns that have been $750,000 and up annually. So it really is a massive range. But ultimately, what you're calculating is basically that cost per executed lease in relationship to that lowest monthly rent, recognizing that there are multiple layers of the sales funnel that you have to go through to get to that point.
Tableau is a data visualization software that can help anyone see and understand their data. I asked Erina how Remarkably evolved out of Tableau to create their own proprietary software.
No, it's actually a really fun story, and it of course is multifaceted. So as we kept getting this tremendous feedback on the old version, on the Tableau version, Annalie and I kept looking at each other and saying, this is the big idea. This is the big idea. And it's sort of like, Ryan, if I were to call you up and say, Ryan, I've got two ideas for you, a branding and marketing consulting firm, of which frankly there are many, or a wildly disruptive technology play for the largest asset class in the world. Which would you be more excited about? And the answer, B of course, and B of course was ours as well. And so it was a series of conversations. It was conversations with our customers. It was actually a phone call with Michael Beckerman of CRE Tech, who literally said to us, quit your agency, start a tech company. And it was just sort of sitting here and thinking about the opportunity at hand and wanting to be able to do something just infinitely more scalable and more robust. And so we started building the true SaaS platform last fall. It's built as a basically state-of-the-art data science platform on Python, and then launched it in March. So really moving from that analog solution into something, effectively kind of moving from that analog to digital play, going from the old school records to your iPhone and Spotify.
With a track record of success in commercial real estate marketing, I asked Erina how she was able to build a company based on data science and the programming language Python.
We knew what we were really good at. Annalee and I have a really unique combined skill set, and we knew we had deep domain expertise, which was branding, marketing, and real estate. We were also very aware of where that gap was, exactly like you said, which was effectively, how do you build a venture scale business, software expertise? And so we raised a small pre-seed round. We raised an $800,000 pre-seed round. And as part of that, we met Pioneer Square Labs. And Pioneer Square Labs is an $80 million venture fund here in Seattle. They also have a studio model. And so we partnered with them to basically come in and provide those initial technical chops to move us from that analog idea and delivery that we had created into something much more technical. And so they helped us find our CTO, an amazing guy, Todd Cullen. And so Todd, Annalee, and I are now the trio. What was two is now three, and for good reason. So Todd is a serial entrepreneur. He's built companies all over the world and has really deep expertise in the SaaS world. And so it's been a good, healthy tension, because you're exactly right. We were on the marketing side, and frankly, had come to it from the background of more of a service angle. So at every step of the way, saying, what had we offered that an analyst had done that an engineer can now do? And what have we thought about as services that really should be software? And where have we thought about things as individual projects that can truly be productized? And ultimately moving into a full, predictable lead to lease delivery system and management platform.
With the vision of software doing the work of marketing analyst, I asked Erina how the team moved from vision to execution.
It's been a wild ride, and owning and starting a company is definitely not for the faint of heart, but I can't imagine doing anything else. And we're it's been a wild ride, but frankly, it's been an amazing one. So we started building the platform in the fall of last year. So I guess that would be fall of 2018, taking our previous Tableau version, working with Pioneer Square Labs Studio, working with, their top engineers, data scientists to create the MVP. And I was sort of sitting there, Annalee and Todd had me kind of locked in the room saying, like, you can't sell it yet. And end of kind of beginning of March, they're like, okay, it's going to be releasing at the end of this month. And at the end of the month, indeed, we had a platform. And from there, I went forward and what they would probably have been relentlessly selling it since then. But it's been really fun because people are super excited about it. So in less than 2 months, we've gone from 0 to 8 markets. We have a number of the top 5, top 10 property managers in the US on the platform. We have a number of big institutional owners, and we're seeing great feedback, and we're already having customers call and say, I love this platform. I want to add another 10 buildings to it. So it's been a wild ride, and I have a feeling we're just getting started. But we've gone in the last 6 months from a Tableau kind of R&D version into a fully functional platform that the customers are using and loving, which is really exciting.
I asked Erina how customers and prospects learn about the product and the process from discovery to implementation of the software.
So if a customer is interested, they would go to remarkably.io and they can request a demo. Right now, I am the global sales team of one. We are still a tiny team, and so I am doing the demos, and I actually think it's really important. So I felt really strongly that this first cohort of early adopters and customers I needed to personally go acquire. In part because Annalie and Todd are busy building the platform, but also because I've spent a decade in the industry. I've had this front row seat to the pain points and really want to be able to continue understanding it as we think about the evolution of the platform. So right now, someone would go to the website, they would request a demo, they would chat with me, take them through a 30-minute demo. And specifically, there are three scenarios within which we see customers are coming to us. So the first is kind of a quintessential underperforming asset scenario. So a customer will come to us and say, I have this building, I'm treading water at 75% occupancy, I can't figure out how to move the needle. The only solutions anyone has given me is to drop rent rates or spend more money on marketing, but they can't even tell me what my marketing dollars are getting me. And I have some sort of upcoming trigger event. I want to sell the building. I'm trying to juice cash flow for an upcoming refi. I have a massive loan coming due. And so people have this massive amount of pain. And right now, not a great solution to address that problem. So that's that first scenario within which a customer might come to us. The second is actually on the ground up development side or the pre-development side. So customers started saying, this platform is great, this technology is great. I wish I had had this before I built my multi-$100 million building. So we've started having customers actually engage Remarkably as part of that pre-development process when they're thinking through unit mix, pricing structure, amenities, programming, for instance, and then how to take the asset to market in such a way that will produce the highest rent rates, get them to stabilization as quickly as possible, and generate the highest ROI for every pre-leasing and leasing dollar that they spend. And then the third, which I'm super excited about, and which kind of is an exciting piece of one of the next developments of Remarkably, is really around asset and portfolio optimization. So we had a third group of customers who would say to us, I don't have anything underperforming and I don't have anything in development, but I do have more volatility within my stabilization range than I would like. So they're doing this 95 to 85% yo-yo where they're at 95, everyone's happy, they slide down, everyone kind of just braces and hopes. They slide down a little bit further, they drop rent rates, they buy residents, and they move back up. And across a single asset, that's a problem. But across an entire portfolio, that yo-yo effect, when you're managing on the basis of occupancy and lagging indicators versus leading indicators, becomes a major problem. So those have been the three scenarios within which customers are coming to us. My fastest close to date is 96 hours. So that tells you something. And it's been a whole range of owners, investors, developers, and then also property managers.
Reputation, lead generation, and cost per executed lease are three of the business problems real estate professionals are looking to solve with Remarkably. I asked Erina how Remarkably delivers these services.
Remarkably as a platform is meant to be highly responsive to customers' needs and to the asset strategy. And the subscription packages model that. So you're exactly right that there's a subscription model that's focused on, I need all the bells and whistles of the platform, get me to stable, get me to goal, get me to 95%. There's the option of, no, I have sort of the fundamentals down, but I want to be optimizing to maintain stabilization. There is, subscriptions more focused on, I have stabilization, but at under target rent rates. How could I move those? So having the platform offer really good variety in terms of what is going to be the right fit. Because of course, we're hyper motivated by return on investment and specifically return on marketing investment. And so we wanted to have people have lots of flexibility in terms of what is the right Remarkably subscription for them for that building and for that time. Because we also know that, of course, buildings needs change. So you open a building, you have to get it leased in that first year. then you're going to have half your building move out. You're going to have to then maintain that stabilization. Then there will be an external factor that comes in that changes the market conditions. A new property opens up next door, or people begin undercutting you in the concessions. So making sure that there's also that adaptability within the platform to change based on the market conditions.
Remarkably creates an outstanding amount of value for landlords and property management teams. I wondered aloud if there was an ancillary benefit for tenants.
One of the outputs of the platform is a baseline report. And one of the modules within the baseline report is an acquisition funnel analysis. And so just to break that down a bit, what that means is that it's a data aggregation play. So Remarkably is channel agnostic. So it integrates the data from all of the various platforms and then puts it into this executive level action-oriented dashboard. And within the acquisition funnel module, you can really see in a very specific way what's working and what isn't, and where exactly within that multi-step sales funnel that moves from digital to brick and mortar into the resident experience through to retention, where are they having good success and where are things underperforming? So it's an interesting question that you ask, because I think probably what the outcome will be that will ultimately have a benefit to residents is that if you have a brand issue, the platform identifies that, from within which the owner and manager can say, okay, we really need to do a better job finding this intersection of our building's brand, of, who are we and what do we stand for? Who is our resident? What is it they emotionally and rationally want and need? And what is the competitive landscape? And where can we find that white space? Or additionally, if you have an issue with retention at your property, the platform is going to identify that, from within which a recommended action might be thinking about how to create a more cohesive community. And there are really fantastic tools now in the industry, as we've seen prop tech kind of explode, that are great solutions for so many of those. And so Remarkably becomes a really great identifier and then basically management channel to bring in all of those resources.
Erina mentioned an acquisition tool. I asked Erina to speak to specific features and functionality that the Remarkably team is excited to share.
One response has absolutely been, wow, there is a lot of product here. And there is, because we've spent the last, 2+ almost 3 years creating an analog version, working on R&D, having customers say to us, this is cool, but I wish it could do X, Y, and Z, and figuring out how to do so. So the platform is actually already quite robust. So specifically, what it's comprised of is baseline reporting. So like I said, that data aggregation, data analysis, insight generation, that's that first component. The second is a total addressable market analysis, which is to say, how can a customer get better understanding of the resident opportunity within a specific market and within different resident criteria. It might be thinking about, what are different income levels or different age levels, and how should that influence what you put in for amenities or programming, as a for instance. There's predictive modeling, i.e. different paths to goal that align on an asset strategy. This is a long-term hold versus a value-add repositioning. There's then campaign planning, which is effectively the output of, based on a model that a customer selects and in response to the total addressable market analysis, the platform then generates a campaign plan, i.e. a go-to-market plan that goes through each of those layers of the sales funnel we talked about: reputation building, demand creation, leasing enablement, market intelligence, and identifies specific tactics within each that are required to hit goal. And then there's reporting. So then there's the ability to have these leading indicators versus lagging indicators. So you can be looking on a week over week basis of how you're performing against model, what needs to be adjusted. And so what really is unique is that it is both, looking backward to understand data, contextualizing it within the present opportunity, looking forward as to how you meet goals, and then creating real insights within each of those facets, and then correspondingly recommended actions. What should you do with this insight? and then measured results. What were the outcome of these changes versus just being highly sort of siloed or fragmented, which is what a lot of the current solutions are.
I asked Erina about the competitive landscape in commercial real estate marketing.
I think there are a couple of different ways that we're unique, and then also ways that we differentiate ourselves from the competition. So if you think back to that early stat I gave you, $3.3 trillion industry, $5 billion annual spend, something that's unique is that we take that marketing spend and then generate targeting, planning, measurement, and reporting that really aggregates data across multiple sources, and then from which you can analyze them. You can compare by asset, you can compare by region, you can compare by manager or owner. And from there, think about different paths to goal based on the asset strategy and create a plan. And then once you have that, once the customers have implemented that plan, that campaign execution piece we spoke about across all of the channels, then they can measure its effectiveness and how to improve. So that's kind of what, at a macro level. And then more specifically, we are channel and solution agnostic. So that's certainly a core differentiator. And another is that this is a full funnel analysis. So by that, I mean, it doesn't end at the website. This reflects that this is brick and mortar. It's someone's future home. There's this physical experience that also needs to be understood and measured. And then I think that final piece is just that the Remarkably platform is really focused on looking ahead as to where owners and investors want to get, not looking in the rearview mirror at lagging indicators, which is where a lot of the current solutions focus.
I asked Erina what type of organizations and buildings are a good fit for the Remarkably product.
The platform pencils for buildings that are 50 units and up right now. So basically kind of 50 units and up, Class B, Class A assets. Specifically, it is those owners, investors, developers, and managers. And then the actual users within, it can be the asset managers or portfolio managers. It can also be property managers or marketing managers, anyone that is responsible for the asset performance and corresponding financial output. We're seeing good interest from, with, I would say, probably an overwhelming focus from the asset managers and portfolio managers.
I asked Erina what success looks like for Remarkably over the next 12 months.
It has been a strong start and one we're keen to continue. So we think about different axes. So we think about customers, those big institutional owners and managers. So it's customer expansion. Within that, we think about specific buildings. So it's we're already starting to see expansion plays, which is really exciting. We're starting to have customers call us and say, I love this. I want to add 10 more buildings. So it's increasing that customer count. It's increasing that corresponding building count, moving up that unit number. Of course, moving in those markets, we're thrilled to be in 8 already and expanding from there. And then, of course, driving revenue and expanding the team. So right now we have an absolutely amazing team. They're slightly exhausted and working hard. So I'm excited a year from now that we will have a bigger team to be supporting the great work of the company, and hopefully everyone will look a little more rested.
I asked Erina what the opportunity for Remarkably in commercial real estate marketing looks like over the next 5 to 7 years.
Where we're coming in with this whole kind of marketing black hole and unbelievably sort of manual process is really just the first intersection of trapped value that we identified. But when you pull the thread, you actually see that the issue is much larger. So people are trying to manage and market multi-$100 million businesses, which is what multifamily buildings are. With really fragmented manual tool sets and really very little sophistication to kind of think about how you really strategically drive value. So future state, we think about, how we're frankly going to do for multifamily something very similar to what VTS did for the commercial landscape. And Brandon Weber, one of VTS's co-founders, is one of our early angels and investors, and his vision has certainly been an inspiring part of it, which is to say, how can you really transform multifamily marketing with a true new category of management software? And then I'll just add, so that's sort of more on the functional side. The additional piece that we get really excited about is with more buildings comes more insight. So, with this current set of buildings on the platform, great, super exciting. As you add more and you add more and you get to a critical mass where we'll have a data set that the industry has never had. No one's ever put scale against it in this way. And there will be this connected data platform that starts to get really exciting. And from there, the potential around things like predictive analytics and guaranteed performance models, while admittedly future state, become pretty exciting.
Great to connect with Erina Malarkey of Remarkably today. Remarkably is a multifamily real estate marketing data, analytics, and insights company powered by a proprietary SaaS platform. Remarkably is passionate about helping the nation's top property owners, investors, developers, and managers reach their leasing, occupancy, and revenue goals for ground-up developments, existing assets, while driving significant, measurable, and market-beating performance and value. And that concludes our show. I'm excited to follow Erina and Remarkably's pursuit to build and drive commercial real estate's market into a new digital era with significant value and insights. You can find out more about Erina and Remarkably in the show notes. Please subscribe to The Real Estate Innovators and write a review wherever you subscribe to podcasts, which helps us grow our audience. You can find out more about The Real Estate Innovators at therealestateinnovators.com. Until next time, innovators.